Has it started? Am I missing it? No, you're not. Hello, everybody. Oh my gosh. I don't know. Even though we've done this a couple of times, I still get nervous every time.
Let's sit back. Just chill.
I'm just making sure it's all
Okay,
ready to go.
okay. I'm sorry. I
just
apologize.
double checking everything.
Yeah, you're right. Double check.
We're here. We made it. You guys made it too. Awesome. All right. Hi, Larry. Hi, Steve. Hi, Robert. Awesome.
Hi, everybody.
Hi, everybody.
So, do you want to tell them the point, or should I tell them?
Yes. Okay. So I'm going to adjust this screen really quick. Oh, hello. Got my book. Beautiful. Oh, okay. And everybody can hear us. Okay. Right. Everybody can hear us. Yes.
If you guys can hear us, okay, just say we hear you. Okay.
So, blink twice if you can hear us. Okay. All right. Today, guys, thanks so much for joining us. We're so happy to do this. It's always so awesome to talk to each and every one of you. I'm going to lean forward because I like to lean forward.
You want me to lean forward?
No. You can be as comfortable as you want to be. I'm just letting you know.
I'll match you leaning forward. I'm matching her leaning forward. How come we never check ourselves until we're actually live?
We did check ourselves, and then it looks bad again when we're online. It's like we didn't even brush our hair.
I'm gonna tilt it slightly this way so I'm not like off screen. How's that? Is that good? That's like even, right?
Awesome. Yes.
Okay.
Hello. All right, cool. All right. So today's topic, we actually stated that we wanted to talk about the most embarrassing moments on the Pacific Crest Trail. But what we really, or actually not just the Pacific Crest Trail, just the most embarrassing moments as a couple through hiking. And really what we wanted to talk about today was what we learned as a couple through hiking. Of course, the purpose of these lives is to talk to y'all. So if you have any questions that come up that you're thinking of that don't pertain to particularly the topic we're talking about or anything, we want to talk to you guys. So please feel free to, ask away.
Ask any questions you want about any topic. We'll mainly talk about being a couple on trail. Yes. But it's not restricted to that.
And what we learned. You guys you're two gorgeous people. Come on. Oh, you guys are so sweet.
Okay, so let's see.
First question. How is your van?
Oh, the van. Well, in case you didn't know, our van's name is Grease Lightning, and he's hanging on. He got a ratchet strap across the hood. I was able to disassemble the kind of locking mechanism that kept the hood closed. I took a look at it. It's a little tight in there. There's a little compression in the engine, and I'm not sure how long he'll last, but we're going to keep him for a while for work purposes.
Thankfully, our work, the artisans markets that we do are super close. So it's about 2 miles commute, and we feel so lucky in that. So Grease Lightning is officially retired to just a work vehicle.
Just a local work vehicle. Yeah.
Yes. Okay.
Did they know you got it? Should we tell them that you got a vehicle?
Oh, that hasn't come up yet in the future videos.
So are we not allowed to talk about it?
No, we can talk about it. We got a new car.
Yeah, we got a Subaru, 2006 Subaru Forester. We got a really good deal, 150,000 miles on it, and we're excited. Very happy about it.
It's new to us. Yeah. And y'all know how frugal we are, and we found a steal with this car. So 2006 for some reason feels extra new to us.
And so we had an 02 Astro van for those who don't know, and it was the paint job looked cool, but on the inside it was falling apart and it was pretty rickety. Oftentimes one of the doors wouldn't work or the windows, and just being in this Subaru, it feels
so nice.
It feels really
we have
nice.
A button. We can press a button to unlock the car doors. It's amazing.
The windows open.
All the doors work.
Yeah.
All the airbags work. We feel very incredibly grateful, and just, we're very, very excited. Subarus are the best. Yes, we agree. This is actually our 3rd Subaru. So apparently we are Subaru people. Okay.
Oh, you guys are getting the book. Woo!
Hey guys, it's Chickpea. Lovely to see you. Got the shipping notification for the book. So excited. Let
the embarrassing couple stories begin.
Okay, perfect. All right. Well, the first thing, not so super embarrassing, but one major thing that we learned about when we basically large sections. So when we lashed the Arizona Trail in 2022, we were fairly new to through hiking. And that was actually our first long distance through hike that we did as a couple. And so we did 600 miles. We were gone for 40 days. And while we were packing, we decided to cut some weight. And we had a 2-person Big Agnes tent. And we also had a 3-person, but we decided to shed the extra pound and just take the 2-person tent. And we were like, it's big enough. It's fine. Obviously, we had done camping in both tents, but we had never done a long trip like that.
That was our first through hike. Yeah.
And let me tell you all, it was claustrophobic. When you're sharing such close quarters and such close space with each other, we found that the 2-person tent was just not adequate. You're live. Are we unspinning?
Are we back? Are we back?
Are we alive?
Davis,
No, I'm not.
Good now.
Good now.
Oh, sweet.
Live.
Okay.
Awesome. Oh, good. Alive. Back. Oh, wonderful. I'm sorry, y'all. We just stream via YouTube and we have really good connections. So I don't know why it buffers for y'all. We'll have to look into that. Maybe we need to use a third party or something.
It's likely an issue that we don't understand.
Yes. I know we may look young, but we're still technology.
We're still technology illiterate.
Yes. Yeah. Yes. Okay. Yeah. Just let us know in the comments if we start to buffer again. We just closed it out and reloaded it. So,
so our last thing we were talking about was the tent size.
Yes.
Why don't you take off?
Where did I take off?
If you're 2 people, use a 3-person tent. Long story short, if you're 2 people backpacking, use a 3. Right, baby?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. Okay. So as far as most embarrassing stories, let's just get into the couple of the most embarrassing things that we faced.
Okay.
And then we'll come back to like kind of what we talked about. So this is all about learning to respect your partner's privacy. And one thing that happened to us was when we were in Washington, as I'm sure if you guys followed along, you saw that we got caught in a pretty bad rainstorm for a couple of days. And that was the first time we both peed in the tent. And we both remember very specifically that we met a couple of trail angels that were doing trail magic. And they told us that I think we were probably 600 miles in, 600 or 700 miles in, and they were our age. And the girl was like, before your trail is over, you guys will pee in the tent. And I was like, no, we won't, because Robert and I don't do that. First of all, we're very private people when it comes to
those private peers. Yeah.
Yes. And so that happened.
Sorry to cut you off. Look, they got a book in the UK.
Oh, good. Yes. Oh, wonderful.
We were having a little trouble delivering to the UK, but awesome.
At least one person did.
At least one person got it. Yeah.
So that was an interesting thing. And
yes.
Go ahead.
Okay. So we peed in the tent. What she means by that is we didn't pee inside the tent. We peed out of the tent from the inside of the tent. In Washington, it was pretty relentlessly raining for days and days. And you're drenched when you pitch your tent. You're drenched when you get inside your tent. You have to kind of like wipe down the inside of the tent. Your sleeping bag's kind of damp. It's kind of uncomfortable. Mm-hmm. And the last thing you want to do when you get into your sleeping clothes is get back out into the rain to go to the bathroom. And it's really miserable out there. And you don't want to get wet again, especially when it's super cold. There's like some hypothermia issues. You kind of want to try to stay as dry as possible, and you're already pretty damp. So yeah, we experimented with just zipping open the tent and just peeing out of it.
Well, I actually peed in a Ziploc.
Oh, I thought you.
No. So in case of y'all ladies are wondering, yeah, I definitely peed in a Ziploc. But I will say that one thing is we are very particular about respecting each other's privacy. And so we closed our eyes and plugged our ears while the person was going, because we couldn't go. Like,
yeah, I mean, also you want to keep a little bit of mystery in your relationship.
Exactly. Nobody is commenting, which means either y'all are stunned into silence, and they were like, "This is not what we thought. This conversation
is not what we signed up for." Yeah. Okay, so we move on to the next rainy day situation.
Okay,
or is this too gross for these people?
I don't know. They're still not commenting. So, there is no shame in what you do.
Okay, good. They're
good. So finally somebody.
Okay, so the next one was another bathroom story.
I might start blushing.
Okay, all right. So we're hiking and it is miserable. It is incredibly rainy and very cold. Your hands are just super cold. We're hiking through the rain. We're going super slow because in the rain, everything is slippery and you're trying to be safe. Raincoat, puffy, and eventually it's time to stop and go number 2. And that's super sucky in the rain. You have to dig a cat hole in the rain. And on top of it, we were hiking on a ridge. So one side is one side is a slope going down, and it's kind of dangerous. It's slippery, but you have to go to the bathroom, so you can't hold it any longer. So like one of us is just sort of standing out in the rain, waiting for the other one to go, and it's taking forever. It's miserable. And then there's only like one place to dig a cat hole because the whole thing is a ridge, and there's like one little tree to hide behind.
Yeah. So he's talking about having to go to the bathroom at the exact same time while it's pouring rain, and there's literally only one place to go. And so where normally we would be like, okay, I'm going to go way off here. And
I'm going to go over here. She's going to go over there. We'll do our business and then come back to the trail. Now it's like, I'm like standing on the trail waiting for her to finish. She's just barely off the trail. Other hikers are hiking by. I'm like trying to talk to them.
It was embarrassing too, because it was so obvious that one partner was going to the bathroom because why else would you just
be standing in the middle of the rain, not doing anything?
Yeah. And you're like,
and then when Susie was done, I had to climb back down and basically go in the exact same spot she did, which is a little embarrassing and kind of gross,
Yeah.
And you don't want to slip. You're afraid you're going to slip while you're over a cat hole. And it's like, anyways, we successfully did it without soiling ourselves, which is nice.
Yes, no one was injured in the process of making this video or got yucky stuff on them. Okay, our first question, then we'll come back to embarrassing stories. Is it scary leaving the tent at night anyways? Sometimes yes. Most of the time, no. That should be a scary episode. Yeah. Sometimes it is. Sometimes I can get kind of freaked out and be like, oh, it's so quiet. And you're like, what if something's there? But a lot of the times, honestly, if somebody had to get up in the middle of the night and pee, most likely you're waking up your partner, and not intentionally, but most of the time you are. And then the other person's got to pee too. Yeah. And so oftentimes we would just go out of the tent at the same time and go off in different directions. And also that presented a really great opportunity to look at the stars, which is when we often did a lot of stargazing, is when somebody would wake up and have to go pee. They'd either wake up the other person intentionally or not. And then we would go stargazing.
Yeah. And it's usually at like 2 or 3 a.m., which is a perfect time to see the stars, like Susie said. And also you're kind of like in a half sleep most of the time out on the trail. You wake up really easily. Your dreams are all kind of like half waking dreams almost.
Okay. No, I was just going to say, I just saw a comment that Susie, I still haven't got to pooping in the woods. I hold it for a privy.
Holy moly.
That's amazing. You must be used to the AT or something, because the PCT don't have that many privies, girl.
Yeah. The PCT that would be tough to do. There's a lot of miles.
I will say that privies. I had the opposite thing. So when I did my first long ever through hike. So when I first ever through hiked, I did a solo trip on the Appalachian Trail. And I actually got more embarrassed going to the privies, because that was oftentimes when you would run into hikers. And then of course the stink and the grossness that is a privy. And so oftentimes I was like, I would prefer going off out in the middle of the woods and digging my own hole, that I don't have to deal with anything. But later on, as the trail progressed, especially on the PCT, I would have given like a lot for a privy, because it's like after a while you're like, I gotta go tromp off into the woods for a long time. I'm already tired. I'm already hiking everything. And then you have to dig a hole and then all that kind of stuff. And so there was a point where I was like, it's a good thing I like walking, because you walk off into the woods. But
yeah, speaking of digging holes, one little trick that Roadrunner taught us was using your ice axe to dig a cat hole. A lot nicer than using the little spade that we had.
Actually, you discovered that.
I discovered that?
Yeah, you discovered that.
I thought I learned that.
No, you discovered that. And he was like, I'm going to keep the ice axe even when we were past the snow, because it's such good.
It's a really good cat hole digger.
Yeah.
And then Robert said pee bottle works great. Yeah, some people use a Ziploc bag too.
Yeah. I use the Ziploc. I think for a dude, probably a pee bottle. Also, somebody that we knew used their Nalgene bottle, and that was a woman. And so
I would never be able to drink out of that bottle ever again.
But people say pee is sterile.
Sanitary wise, yeah, you should be able to use your Nalgene and just wash it out and be fine.
Yeah.
PCT 27. Do you think sending a box ahead is important, or just buying off the open market? We are firm no box senders anymore. We don't send boxes, except for gear, snow gear. Definitely send ahead. Send your mountain gear, your snow gear, your warm clothes, stuff like that, to when you need them. That's what I would say.
Yeah.
As far as sending boxes, gear for sure. What's up?
Oh, I was just going to comment on that. I did make a video on the food stops that we did along the way. And there were 2 instances where we did send food ahead. There was in Big Bear, we sent ahead to Kennedy Meadows South. And that was because we had heard rumors that it was pretty expensive to resupply out the outfitter store. And when we got there, we were really happy that we did send a box ahead, because it was rather expensive. So I would say that. And then again, in Washington at Sahikin, we heard that Sahikin was rather expensive. So we didn't send a box ahead, because there's also a lot of comments that the post office is really hard. Their hours are kind of inconsistent and stuff. And so we ended up hiking extra food with us. Of course, if you followed us along, we still ran out of food, but we did hike extra food to that point. And if people were concerned about food and stuff and they didn't want to carry extra food, that would be there. Those 2 places I would recommend that people send a box. So that was Muskegon, Washington. If you followed along, also we skipped the two sections in Washington because of fires. So, give or take that advice, because we're not actually sure. We ended up skipping, or not skipping, but we walked around 2 different fires. So we don't know exactly on those points of the Pacific Crest Trail, but those 2 parts. Other than that, like Robert said, we tried sending ahead boxes on the Arizona Trail. We actually sent ahead all of our boxes.
Go ahead. I'm just taking off my coat.
I know, but it's loud.
I'm warming up.
And we discovered we didn't really like it as much. It was a little bit more constrictive as far as timing and making sure that you're arriving, on a weekday if you're sending it to the post office, and then you get there and you hate everything that's in your box. And
it takes having a box that you pre-sent, which we didn't know when we hiked the Arizona Trail, because we sent a bunch of boxes when we hiked the Arizona Trail. It takes a lot of the fun out of resupplying. Mm-hmm. You might not think it. We didn't think it. We got a bunch of good deals at Sam's Club, and we loaded up our boxes, and we thought we loved everything in them. But almost instantly, it was like, dang, I wish we didn't send these boxes. I wish we could just go to the grocery store and get whatever we felt like, because that's kind of one of the more fun parts about resupplying. Although I would say Bougie, his mom made some super bomb trail food.
She did.
And I was jealous of his food a lot of the time.
A lot of the time. Yeah. But also he struggled so often with getting his boxes.
There you go. Yeah.
And oftentimes he had to go without, or he ended up having to resupply in Kennedy Meadows South because his box didn't arrive.
Yeah, or he'll have to wait an extra day, which sucks. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Okay, real quick, I wanted to go back to one question. Somebody said way back up there about rattlesnakes. Weren't you scared of rattlesnakes? That was a concern. Yeah, especially in Arizona, we came across a lot of rattlesnakes. And also we met a guy towards the end of the PCT track whose name was Lucky. And that's because he got bit by a rattlesnake and it was a dry bite. So hence the name Lucky. But yeah, because oftentimes you would get so close to them before they would rattle. Like they would be a foot from you and then they would rattle and then you'd be like, ah.
Yeah. Yep. And there's some big one. We've seen a bunch of rattlesnakes. And yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Someone asked you a question about a pee funnel.
Oh, have you tried the pee funnel? No, and I don't want to. I am not interested. I don't have a problem squatting. In fact, oftentimes it's like relieving on my back after hiking to like just squat down. And I got to a point where I didn't even take off my pack, and I don't really take off my pack to squat. Now, if you're talking maybe like having a pee funnel for in the middle of the night or something, I still don't really see a benefit to it. And a lot of people that I did talk to that had a pee funnel were like, it's kind of a hassle. They ditched
it quick
because you have to rinse it out and then like all this kind of stuff. And so you guys know me. I'm a no fuss girl. I just squat, I just pee, and it's like, yeah, it's not a big deal. But one thing I do use all the time is a Kula cloth. So yeah, that's a big one. Okay. A couple of people talked about, before we get back onto the PCT, a couple of people talked about asking about their books. And I just wanted to touch base really quick. If we have sent out your book, you will have gotten an email that says that your book is shipping. I will tell everybody that we got 100 boxes boxed up and ready to ship. We were going to ship them today, but we forgot today was a holiday.
That's on top of the ones we've already shipped.
Yes. So if you haven't gotten an email saying your box is shipped, then know that we're getting to it.
You might be in the next batch.
And again, if you made a prepaid while we were on trail and you did $25, but you have not gone back onto our website and completed the payment and updated your mailing address and all that kind of stuff, then make sure you send us an email. It's SuzieRiedel@gmail. Or you can contact us through Riedel Gallery website, because there is a process in order for you to complete your order and to get your book.
You'll complete the order and you'll use a discount code to mark off the $25 that you've already paid.
Yes. If you're confused about it, send us an email, or I made a video that says you must contact me. So that all that information's in there as well. Okay. Got my book. You're the best. You missed Trout Lake, my favorite. We did miss Trout Lake. Yeah.
Where's Trout Lake? Is that in Northern California? Or?
That was a place that was closed because of the fire.
Oh, yeah. Right. Yeah, the fires.
Robert, love the sun hoodie. My son says it became a regular apparel after hiking. Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah, this is still the one I had towards the end of the trail, and I love it.
From Mount Hood North, you won't run into snakes. Accurate. Okay. Love my painting. Oh, love my painting. Approximately how many have you sold of books? Approximately, we're getting close to 300, which is amazing.
That's pretty cool, yeah.
And yeah, it's amazing. Yes. What are your plans for hiking this year? Oh, okay. Well, we were going to make an announcement video that I almost made a pregnant joke again.
Yeah.
It almost just popped out.
Do you want me to talk?
Yeah, you talk. Okay. I'm blushing now. Go ahead.
So we were planning, we don't know yet. The bottom line is we don't know yet, but we do want to hike the AT next. We're sure we want to hike the AT next, and we're pretty sure we want to tack a little onto it. I really want to start. Do you want?
No, and I was going to say, and we know that we're hiking in June. We know that our
southbound.
We know our leave date is in June, so we are going to be hiking southbound.
Yeah, I have a project that I'm working on that I have to keep working on until it's finished, and I'm aiming to finish it in June. And so when I'm done with that, we'll be able to hike south. And I would like to start in Newfoundland, Canada, at the top of the landmass, and do the International Appalachian Trail, and then start at the northern terminus of the AT and continue south and complete the AT. That's what I would like to do.
Mm-hmm.
Susie's pretty much on board with it, but we haven't set it into stone yet. We haven't bought any tickets or anything.
Yeah. We will most likely be making an announcement towards the end of March, because then we'll know where our finances are at and stuff like that. And then we'll know for sure where our start date, or where we're going to start. We know our start date, but where we're going to start. And Yeah.
What has life been post PCT? Have you experienced post trail depression? Yes.
Yes.
Also a sort of post trail um, uh, euphoria as well. A combination of post trail depression and post trail happiness. Like I was telling a friend the other day, like before we left on the trail, I was making a lot of complaints about our house. I'm like, our house is old. I hate this. I hate that. Just kind of like picking it to pieces, kind of like an old house, and has a lot of quirkiness. And I was kind of tearing it down in my mind. And then when I got back from the trail, I was like, I love our house. It's got hot water and electricity and a roof over the head, and it's not so bad.
I think that this was actually the least amount of post-trail depression that I experienced. And I think for a couple of reasons, I think I knew what to expect. There is just there's a natural like response that your body has to when you completely stop something. So, like, you're getting so much sunshine and so much exercise. And when you're at home, you just can't replicate that unless we were full time hikers, which is what we're trying to do. But you just can't replicate that. So, it's very, very natural to experience the depression. And I knew that going into it. And he knew that going into it. And so there are things that we did to really mitigate that. And it was like eating a lot of protein, trying to get outside as much as we could, making sure that we exercised no matter if we didn't feel like it.
We had to run outside in the sun, sweat, get out in that nature. Sorry to interrupt.
No, that's okay.
Just adding to it.
And then just knowing that like eventually our hormones would right themselves. And I did experience a lot. I called my sister quite frequently, and she sent us vitamins, and we like discussed like dietary stuff, and really just kind of like she validated all of the feelings. And so it was like a matter of just being like, hey, we feel bad. We know why we feel bad. And then that's just just keep moving forward, keep doing the things that we know are going to make us feel better until we finally feel better. And having a project like our book when we got home was just huge. We got to, and making videos for you guys and having interactions and still talking with y'all was just really helped mitigate a lot of that depression. Because it wasn't like, okay, now everything's over and nobody likes us anymore and all that kind of stuff.
And speaking of making the book, like oftentimes when you get done with a trip, you would like sort of review the videos or review the photos that you took while you were on vacation or whatever. And for me as an artist, I did a fair amount of paintings to help with the book. I did the cover, I did a whole bunch of cool paintings, and I was able to use the videos that Susie had taken on the trail as reference. So not only was I able to go back and rewatch some of the videos, but I was actually able to do some watercolor paintings based on those videos. And then for the same for Susie, she was editing her book. And so she was reviewing all her journal entries and kind of get to relive it a little bit while you make the book and put it all together.
And same way with the YouTube videos. It really felt like it helped ease a lot of the depression.
Someone said something about CDT.
Okay, before they said that, will you guys write and paint when you do? And yes, absolutely, 110%. When we do our next trail, there will be another book. And
Sorry, you go.
I wanted to say, this is how we fund our trails, y'all. So, that's all I want to say. This is how we fund our trails. So the PCT book helped to fund the PCT.
Thank you guys for that.
Thank you guys so much. Yeah. Know that if you bought our book and if you continue, like everybody from here on out who buys our book, know that you are helping us get to the next trail.
Also, if you buy the paintings from the website, a number of people have bought some original paintings, which thank you for that. That is phenomenal. You guys got some original hand painted artwork painted on trail. That is super cool.
Yeah.
Also, the prints are a much more affordable option. They come really nicely. I don't want to turn this into a sales pitch, but we do use that money for the trails. Yeah.
Two things. First thing was there was a question up above that somebody asked about, was it hard to find ultras or topos? And I forget who asked that, but that was a great question. Real quick, no. those, if you're choosing a very popular shoe to thru hike in, you won't have any trouble finding those shoes at an outfitter store. We never had any trouble we wear Ultras and Topos and Solomons and Hokas. Like, so any of those name brands, you will be able to find those in any major outfitter store. In Washington, you're kind of off the beaten path and you're only going through really small towns. So it would be harder to find a regular outfitter store. So going into Washington at Cascade Locks, we got our last pair of shoes. But the rest of the time it was really easy to find shoes.
Also on shoes, I forgot at the beginning of our trail, we did buy like 3 pairs of Ultras or something. And those were shipped ahead as far as shipping boxes go. Like I said, gear shipping ahead is a good idea. At least for us, it was.
We bought them on sale. So we bought some Ultras on sale. So then we started with a pair and then we sent 2 ahead.
We boxed them up and sent them to my mom. And she sent them ahead for us.
Yeah. Okay. Somebody wanted to know, you guys were hoping we were going to go to the CDT. Okay. We definitely want to hike the Continental Divide Trail. It is on our list. 110%. I don't know why I'm using that, but we do want to hike the CDT. The reason y'all were hiking the East Coast Trail is because we are on the East Coast. And we have a lot of our loved ones and a lot of people over here that would really love to see a book on the Appalachian Trail and the East Coast. And also, we like to move a lot. So if you guys know, we're actually from California and we moved to the East Coast and we don't want to always stay in Tennessee. And so it makes sense for us to do the trail while we're still over here. And that's why we chose the Appalachian Trail first.
Also, CDT is super dope. It's incredibly long. People always say it's like one of the hardest out of all the trails. So maybe save the best for last type of thing.
We do. Yeah. I personally feel like it is going to be the best. And if it was like somebody was like life or death, either the AT or the CDT, I would kind of almost pick the CDT. But we've always wanted to do the AT. It's been on our list. It's over here. And so that's why we're choosing that.
All the trails in the Triple Crown are amazing. It's just a matter of what order you want to do it in. And this is just the order we decided to do them in. That's all. Yeah.
Okay. I have to read this one. Steve, not too embarrassing, but 2 days before you got to Canada, Susie used a shoe to keep your dinner cup upright. And Robert made a funny comment.
I didn't even remember that.
Yeah.
You sticking your cup in your stinky shoe. Yeah.
No, I was cooking rice. I was rehydrating rice and I stuck the packet of rice in my shoe.
Oh, I didn't realize that. Yeah. I forgot about that. Yeah.
I think he was just being funny. It wasn't bad or not. Yeah. He was just being funny. Okay. Just see you in 2027. All right. No real questions. Oh, I'm a new hiker. Oh, welcome, Amy. Hi. We're so glad you're a new hiker. What is the best first trail if you're a new hiker? Also, I can't wait to read your book. Oh, thank you. I think, first of all, where are you from, Amy? Because I think that could really influence your decision. I feel like.
No, I was just reading her message.
I feel like you should choose the trail that you want to choose. I think the PCT was our first trail that we wanted to do because we were from Northern California and that was kind of like the trail that we knew about. And so it was kind of our first love, but we got really distracted by life and trying to make money and trying to work on our careers and everything. So it took us 10 years from the time that we were like, let's hike the PCT to the point where we actually hiked it. And a couple years before we finally like committed to hiking the PCT, I did a solo thru hike because I was like, I want to do this. We're not going to do this unless we like do it. And so I did 300 miles on the Appalachian Trail and it changed my life. And I called him up and I was like, baby, I was made for this. We were made for this. Let's do it.
Yes. And that reminds me, if you've never done any kind of thru hiking before, you don't have to do a big, huge, long trail. A 300-mile trip is a perfect first thru hiking distance. That way it's not like a huge chunk of time. You may be able to take that time off of work. You definitely won't have to like sell your house, which is what a lot of people have to do when they do like a 6-month trip. And then I would also suggest the Arizona Trail.
So I was going to say that. So then after the 300 miles on the AT, I was like even more hooked. We had already done backpacking and we knew we loved it. Of
We
course,
had done like most of it was maybe like 4 or 5 days, something like that. Yeah.
And then I've discovered the Arizona Trail, which is 800 miles. And I was like, I want to do that. And he took one look at it and he was like, I'm doing it with you. And
yeah. And that was my first true through hike. And I definitely loved it. I didn't mean to cut you off.
No, it's okay. You cut me off a lot. No. Yeah, the Arizona Trail was absolutely beautiful. The Appalachian Trail and a lot of the Eastern trails or whatever have have a really strong trail community, especially the AT because it is the oldest long trail. But like any of the trails are amazing, and there's a lot of shorter ones. Oh, I was going to say have a goal in mind. So when I did my first long section of 300 miles, it was when I was turning 30 and I was like, okay, I want to do 30 days, 300 miles for my 30th birthday. And so it was just this arbitrary goal, and that made it feel really, really good to have a mileage in mind and then to hit that mileage. And I think that's really important.
Okay. I want to say, Paul, yeah, the JMT is an excellent idea. That's a really excellent first through hike.
Yeah.
And then Data, interesting. I thought bird call got you into hiking. I may have influenced her to get into backpacking, like 2 days, 3 days, 4 days, and maybe that type of thing. But there is a difference between long distance through hiking and just backpacking for the week or whatever. Do you want to speak to that at all? Like the difference between the two?
Yeah, just through hiking is just cool and interesting because it gets to that point where you have to resupply and then get back out on trail and you don't really have an end destination in mind. So it's really, really freeing. And you kind of like, oh, I go where the wind takes me.
Yeah.
And so that's that feeling that I love and we love. Of course, we love hiking and backpacking as much as we can. But the specific thing about through hiking is where you're living and being on trail.
You're living on trail. Yeah.
Is like a really, really cool experience. Amy, for the JMT, that is the John Muir Trail, in case you didn't know. Also, there's the Pinote Trail. I'm trying to think of something that's about 300 miles long. There's the Tahoe Rim Trail. It's a little bit more remote, but it is beautiful. And so you have lots of options. Okay, more questions. Do you think you'll meet up with Roadrunner on the AT this year? We actually just asked each other that. We were wondering if our schedules would align, and I don't know because we have a later start date. I know she's not hiking the whole thing. I think she said she was hiking about half of it, and I'm just not sure yet if our timeframes will align because we don't know if we're going to be starting in Newfoundland yet or if we're going to be starting on the AT.
Doesn't she live like right on trail or something?
I think she does. I think she lives in Virginia now. So maybe some trail magic. I'm not sure. Yeah. I don't know. We'll have to see. Okay.
Too many rattlers in North.
Oh, what about the Foothills Trail? Also a great trail. Amy, any of these, you're talking to the right community. Yeah. All of these people know, like so good.
Live in Maine. Oh yeah, isn't there the 100-mile wilderness up on the northern AT?
That might not be the best for a brand new hiker because the 100-mile wilderness is very remote. Yeah. So is the Tahoe Rim Trail. You're going to want to find like a popular trail so you have just confidence going into it. She's in Vermont. Oh yeah, it was a V. So she's in Vermont. Okay. So since we don't have any other questions for a second.
Speaking of hiking with other hikers.
Oh yeah.
So there is like there's a little bit of a difference between couples on trail and single people on trail. And sometimes as a couple, you kind of want to just kind of hike with each other. You don't really want another person to hike with, even though they're really cool to hike with sometimes. Go ahead.
To adjust your words.
Okay.
No, I think we do want to hike with people. We do want to hike with people. We want to meet people. We love people.
Yes,
And
yes.
we love especially the thru hiker community. But we only want to thru hike with each other. And that means from start to finish,
Yes.
we're committed to each other and hiking with each other.
Yeah.
And there is a different just dynamic when you're a solo hiker versus a couple. You already have your main squeeze. You don't need anybody else. So it is fun to meet up with people and to like be with people and stuff.
Mhm.
But as far as just like through hiking with a person or a trail family or whatever, we kind of realized that wasn't really us. Like we wanted to see
Yes.
people and meet up with people and stuff like that. But at the end of the day, we it's just like,
It's super cool if you can meet up with people and hike with them for like a certain distance. But then there's this phrase in thru hiking that's hike your own trail. And it can be difficult, especially like, for example, if I talk with some of our trail family and they're like, "Oh, we're taking off tomorrow. We're going to go to such and such point." And then I go, "That sounds great. Awesome." And then I talk with Susie about it later and she's like, "What? I don't want to do that." And then I'm like, "Shit, why did I agree to that?" And we have to discuss it. It's this whole kind of other dynamic when if it's just you and your spouse, it's a lot easier to sort of make those types of decisions.
yeah, embarrassing moments as being a thru hiker couple. So we had this, like we said, was the longest through hike that we had done together, and the
Mhm.
first time we had ever had an experience with a trail family, which was amazing, and we
Yeah.
loved them. But there was a point at which we did get teased in the morning because we pitched our tent too close to them.
If we made some tent noises at night.
And
Yeah.
so that was like, oh, we're married and they're not. So that was an interesting thing, which is not that big of a deal.
Nothing on them or on us, but like set your tent up maybe a little bit of a distance away from people.
Yeah, yeah, you
Yeah.
realize pretty quickly you're like, okay, we're on different um just like we didn't know that we didn't want to share a hotel with people. At a point we were like, oh, this is a great way to like have friends and
Save
to
money.
save money,
Yeah.
and a lot of times people are doing that, and that is great and wonderful a few times, and then
Yeah.
you're like, oh, okay, I just want
I just want a hotel with my wife and it kind of or my husband or whatever.
yeah,
Yeah.
and you're like, I just want to chill. And I think it's the same for other people. I think it's the same for solo hikers. They don't want to hang out with everybody all of the time. You
Yeah.
need your chill time. And so I think that's why that phrase exists. Everybody needs to be able to hike your own hike. And so you yourself, including with him, you have to set boundaries on like, okay, I just want to do my own thing.
Mhm.
And,
Another thing too is oftentimes, especially Susie, she loves listening to audiobooks on trail. And a lot of other hikers love listening to their headphones, audiobooks, music, things like that. And sometimes you just want to hike alone and listen to your book.
yeah,
Okay.
that's a fun thing for through hiking as a couple, is that we love sharing and listening to audiobooks together. So that is a really fun thing. Our headphones link up, and we started the trail being like, okay, what like series do we want to listen to? So when we were hiking in France, we listened to the whole Lord of the Rings series, and we almost restarted it again.
I forgot we didn't even tell them about the French trail. They probably knew about that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, the French trail. But yes, and so that was a super fun thing that we enjoyed, which was, listening to an audiobook together. So that's a really fun thing as a couple to do.
Listen to the Lord of the Rings trilogy audiobook narrated by Andy Serkis.
Yes.
He crushes it. And if you listen to it while you're hiking across Europe, across the south of France, it's so epic.
Okay. What's the next question?
My sons hiked the PCT together, but it was not unusual to not be together all the time. Yep, that is for sure.
Yeah.
I've done every through hike alone. It's far better experience. I had no choice.
No one would come with me. Aww. Yeah. It is pretty freeing when you're like, when you don't have anybody to answer to, and you just get to make your own decision.
Yeah.
And thankfully we're so in tuned with each other, that we were often on the same page. But yeah, when you're hiking alone, if you're a true solo person and you do want to hike alone and just maybe meet up with people in town or something, then you're like, yeah, I'm doing my own thing. There's a reason I came out into the woods
yeah, exactly.
to hike.
Yeah.
I love people and I love everybody, but there is a reason I would prefer the woods to.
You're there to enjoy nature and to be out in it. And another thing, just to summarize that, is if you are through hiking and you do meet really cool people, but you get separated from them, don't worry. You're going to see them again. You guys are all out there for a long time. And we saw lots of awesome people, Johnny Appleseed, Kettle, Daisy Chains. We had a lot of friends on trail. We wouldn't necessarily say they were Hatchet. Yeah. They weren't like our trail family, so to speak, but we saw them like the whole trail. It was awesome. We saw them off and on. You get reacquainted and you still, communicate during, with social media afterwards and stuff like that.
And having a trail community during the scary sections, wherever that might be on whatever trail you're hiking, is a really, really amazing thing. And I wouldn't change that. Like going through the Sierra with a trail family was like,
I'd do it again, and I recommend it for anybody.
Yeah.
Okay, Hunger Games is a great audiobook series. Sarah says,
"Oh,
dude, we should totally do the Hunger Games. That's a great Isn't there like
series,
7 books in that or something?"
Yeah, the Hunger Games. Oh, I think I've listened to the Hunger Games.
Really?
Most people think I'm crazy to want to hike 2,650 miles. I just tell them it's an adventure.
I get that from your hat. Oh, it is. It's the best. It is.
Yeah,
hiking is the best.
All right. Oh, I don't know what I was going to say. Sorry, just got home from hiking after work. Hello, Bird Call and Boss Bay. Love you guys. Your book is awesome.
Oh, that's so sweet.
Oh, okay. I got stuck with a March 5th permit, but I can't make it to the southern terminus until the 20th. Did you hear of any other hikers catching flack from rangers for something like a late start? Ooh, that's a tough one.
Something like a late start. What do you think she means?
A late start from their start date.
Well, I think you should definitely start on your start date, right?
I feel like we can't really have an opinion on this, but I will state what happened when we started.
Yeah, we also had a messed up start date.
We got a super early start date, and according to the PCTA, there was supposed to be 45 other hikers that were starting on that exact same day as us.
It was full.
It was full, and we got to the terminus, and there was
nobody else starting that day. Yeah.
And also the very next day, or within the next week, there was snowstorms up the wazoo. Yeah. So I think that there was some people making some different decisions. There's no police force at the terminus, though there were people checking permits, but they were not surveillance, service, where they're checking. What's the word I'm looking for?
I don't know. Who are you talking about?
The people who checked us in for our thing, they were merely
volunteers.
They were volunteers, and they were merely taking a survey.
Oh yeah,
yeah.
So they were doing a census.
A census, yeah. So they were trying to figure out, how many people. They were just keeping track of how many people were starting on.
And they were giving everybody their black bags and talking about leave no trace. And they were just volunteers. They weren't like enforcing anything. But I will say this. I would make sure that when you're on trail, you're within the zone of your permits. So the start date, the end date, try to be within that zone. They're not going to give you any flack about like, oh, you're behind by however many weeks, or you should already be at this point if you're going to make it to the end. I don't know if that was the question, but nobody's checking how slow or how fast everyone's going. If you guys watched the episodes of our vlog, you'll know that when we got to San Jacinto, it was a blizzard that stalled everybody up, and we ditched and went to the Arizona Trail for 20 days and then came back and continued hiking. So in that sense, we were able to remain within our permit zone. We were able to stay in the time that we were supposed to be hiking, but we didn't necessarily follow it exactly to the T. We kind of waited, and we ended up kind of in the bubble with other people and stuff like that, but that was how we had to do it to be safe. I think the real key for the Rangers is make sure you're doing leave no trace while you're on trail, and don't be lame. So if a ranger sees you and you're within within the zone of your hiking and you're not being obstructive or being lame, they're fine.
We're all trying to protect the trail.
Yeah.
And so that is the purpose of the permit system, is to like mitigate the amount of people so that there's not a huge influx of people starting at the exact same time. The rangers that are checking permits, most often in our experience, were in certain sections that were like national park sections. And so they wanted to make sure that you had your permit and that you were abiding by your permit at that point. And that is where we got our permits checked, was in like Mount Rainier National Park and stuff like that. So I think there is some, you can take that information with a grain of salt and do what you feel is good.
Oh, I think I know what he's saying now. He has a March 5th permit, but he's not going to be able to start at the southern terminus till the 20th.
Yeah.
I don't know. You might want to contact the PCTA.
Also, a lot of times the people would, you're getting close to it now, but dates would open up because people will cancel their permits and stuff. So you could kind of get on the website daily and check to see if anything opened up, and, use your best judgment. Like I said, our story, you can take advice from that. Yeah.
And technically he would still be in the zone of his hiking if he didn't start the 5th. That's probably what we would have done if we had known that you could do that. I don't know if you can do that.
I don't know. Yeah. Did you see any rangers on the trail in the PCT? We kind of answered that. Yeah, we got checked a couple of times. And they're just there to make sure you're being safe and your leave no trace principles. And we got checked at kind of like when we got out of Stehekin and we went around and went back onto the PCT, when we were walking around a fire, there was a ranger pulling down like fire closure signs, and he was like, how the heck did you guys get here? And so he kind of like questioned us to make sure we hadn't like hiked on a closed portion of the trail and stuff like that. But they're just there for your protection. They're not
I've never met a mean ranger or a rude ranger.
Yeah.
And if you do have to reroute around fires, chances are you'll use an app called Gaia or some other app, and it'll be super easy for you to show the ranger, hey, look, this is what I did. And I went around that like that.
Are campfires allowed anywhere? I think that changes depending on the year and the fire restrictions in certain areas. I think that you have to have a fire permit for your camp stove. I don't think that changes, but exactly building a fire, there's certain restrictions, and those do change depending on the fire season and the fire risk. When we got to Northern California, the fire risk was high, and it stayed high the entire time, even into Washington. And so there was no fires.
Read Mark's comment.
Mark, rain is going on my wall. As a guitarist, I plan on capturing the mood of that painting in music. Oh, that is so sweet. Oh my gosh.
Rock on, Mark.
UDAC.
I can't wait to hear it.
I know. I hope you send it to us. I really hope you send it to us.
Please, I would love to hear that.
Yeah, no pressure.
No pressure.
We show you our stuff. So I'm just kidding.
I show you mine, you show me yours. Is that just in?
Yeah. UDAC. Oh, I missed the notification. That's all right. We are so happy that you're here. Welcome. I doubt the trail police would give anyone a ticket. Valid. Yeah, I think so too. I'm taking notes. Okay. Okay. Did you fix the van? Sorry, not hiker related question. Okay. We kind of answered that in the beginning. So long story short, yes and no. It's a 2002 Chevy Astro. They discontinued the Chevy Astro, so it's hard to find parts for it. It kind of looks like a saddled man with his bumper looks like a sad mustache.
Yeah. It's hard to fix a vehicle after a collision, but at least it wasn't like a lot of damage. So it's still going to run for now.
Okay. Hi, can't wait for your movie. I'm willing to pay $20 for 2 soft drinks and 1 large popcorn. Your story's so worth it.
Aw.
Oh, cutest couple ever.
Okay.
Do you see we got the award
really
for
sweet.
cutest couple ever? It's all an act, you guys.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh my gosh, my dad-in-law had a stroke right before my start date. Oh.
When I got to the southern terminus on April 6th,
We're live. Sorry, we had to go for a timeout for a second. Oh. Oh, we had to play back. Okay, now we're good.
Can you guys see us again? Okay, we're back. Yeah.
It froze and they both had intense looks on their faces.
That was
You're back.
That was my fault. I touched it and it died.
He touched it.
Yeah.
Okay, sorry guys, we're back. We're not professionals. In case it's not obvious, we're definitely not professionals.
Okay, I'm gonna try not to mess it up.
Okay,
let's see. Someone had my dad-in-law had a stroke right before my start date last March. I let them know when I got to the southern terminus on April 6th.
He was saying,
I just told the truth. Just be honest.
Just be honest. Yeah. Like if you,
I see.
If and when you have you don't make it on your exact date. Yeah. I think that's the best advice is just be honest with the rangers and, be honest with the people.
Yeah.
If there's somebody checking you in at the terminus, just be honest. Yeah.
Yep. That's all you can do.
Yeah. They should play their own character. Oh, in the movie. Oh, that's cute. They have a Mac. Oh, hey. Yeah,
it's not the computer. It's me touching it.
It's us. We're the problem. It's us. You keep cutting out. I know. I'm sorry. Question. Did you ever see bobcat or bear on the PCT hike? Both.
Yep.
Yeah.
We saw both.
So if you watch this on the trail, you know that the only bear that we saw was actually at the South Lake Tahoe campground. And it was totally, what's that bear that eats the picnic baskets?
Yogi. It was a Yogi bear.
It was a Yogi bear for sure. Yeah. We did see a bobcat or a mountain lion just outside of Lassen National Park. And that was kind of the scariest time, going back to the beginning when y'all asked if it was scary getting out of the tent at night. We got out of the tent and it was like, I think we were going to pee or something. And I remember I got out and I saw some eyes off into the distance. And I was like, baby, there's something out here.
Yeah. And it was like this sort of silent, slinking silhouette that just sort of disappeared.
He got out of the tent right away.
Quietly disappeared didn't make any noises or sounds. And it was very creepy. Yeah.
He went to go kind of like shoo it away and it just kind of like looked.
And it didn't really care about me at all. And then just sort of slinked off into the night. I was like, yee.
Yeah.
That was definitely a mountain lion. Yeah.
Yes.
We also saw some massive mountain lion prints at some point.
A mountain lion will hunt you for hours. Pretty scary. Yeah. Yeah. Mountain lions you don't want to mess with them.
No.
But I feel like on these long trails, there are a lot of people along the trail. And so as far as the time that we went, we didn't actually see a lot of like large wildlife. We saw a couple of deers, more rattlesnakes than anything else along the way. Are you ever going to hike again? Have you talked to Roadrunner or Bougie? Oh, you guys must just be getting on. Well, I'm so glad you're here. We are planning a hike in June, the June of this year. We're either going to start on the International Appalachian Trail in Canada, or we're going to start headed southbound. Well, either way, we're going southbound on the Appalachian Trail. And have you talked to Roadrunner and Bougie?
And we have texted them a little bit, but really not much. Yeah. We're all busy.
Nobody cares about somewhere here, I guess.
I know. You know? I know. We definitely have texted them more than somewhere, although I wouldn't mind catching up with her as well.
Yeah. No, I think we all text occasionally. Yeah.
Art market in March.
Oh.
Okay, awesome. Yeah. We'll see you there.
Yes. Yes.
Want to pick out some prints in person? Yes. Come pick out some prints in person.
Yeah. Julie, she seemed to be a loner. I think that somewhere was like the perfect solo hiker. Like she definitely was out there to solo hike, and she had the perfect balance of being like, I want to hang out with people and then I'm done. And it was actually pretty valuable, and kind of a lesson to learn in like kind of setting boundaries and being like, yeah, I like you guys, but I'm done. And I'm also out here to be by myself. And so I don't think she was a loner. I think she was just a solo hiker, and she wanted to have friends. And when we met up with her, it was amazing. And we were always happy to see each other. And then she liked to go off and do her own thing. And I think that is great and wonderful. And, we might be more like that in the future. I don't know, yeah.
Yay. Hello from Vancouver, Canada. Hoping to do PCT in the next couple of years, 2027. This is going to be part of my healing and a way to honor my son, Justin, 17, that passed away. Oh my God. I'm so sorry, Shara.
My gosh.
That sucks.
Wow.
Yeah.
Are you going to spread his ashes along the trail?
That sucks.
That does suck.
I'm so sorry. That's horrible.
Well, I think that's the best thing you could do to honor him. I mean, like it's such an intense journey, and I feel like could be very healing for you to hike the PCT.
It'll give you lots of time to think about him, cherish him, and it will also get your mind off of him occasionally when you have to focus on like life and death situations. Get back with nature. But that's just horrible. That is so sad. I'm so sorry for you.
Yeah. Thanks for sharing with us on that.
Yeah. And also, if you vlog your journey, you might help other people who have lost loved ones. If they can see your journey, that's, it helps. It helps to see other people doing that stuff.
Okay. Hiking was probably the hardest and best thing in experience to really find out a lot about yourselves. It was. Yeah. And we learned a lot about each other too. I think it was the hardest thing that I've ever done. And yeah, it really taught us a lot for sure. Another thing, going real quick back to like through hiking as a couple, when we started out, or even prior to us starting out, we promised each other that we weren't going to quit.
Yes.
And that was the best thing we could have done as a couple together.
Yes.
Is like, we were like, hell or high water, we're doing this together. We're touching the sign together, and we're touching the sign at the end.
Yes. And we also made a vow that if one of us couldn't finish, that the other person would keep going.
Yeah.
And I made a vow to myself that I would finish if with any injury short of breaking my leg, I would finish. And I said that out loud to myself. I'll stop if I break a leg. Other than that, I'm finishing this trail. And it sounds extreme, but when you're out there, sometimes the feeling of wanting to quit is super real, and they say you need a why. And I getting to that terminus was very important. Oh, making the book was a really good why. We knew we had to finish the trail for the book to have a completed feeling of an ending,
Mm-hmm.
And that really helped us get to the end. Was we knew we were going to be producing this book about it, and we wanted it to end at the northern terminus.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Did your family give Somewhere her trail name, or did she have it before? She had it before. Yeah.
She got it hiking the AT. Somewhere is awesome. She actually hiked the northern first half of the AT first, and then she got on the PCT and hiked the whole PCT. That's when we met her. She had already had the trail name Somewhere. And then she finished the PCT and then got back on the AT, I believe. Yeah. I don't know if she ever finished the AT, but she did get back on it.
I'm pretty sure she did. Yeah. She was doing her thing, though. She was something else.
Yeah.
What was the age of the oldest person that was through hiking?
In their 80s.
Yeah.
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 Yeah. In fact, I believe we met a man and a woman in their 80s. There was definitely a few in their 70s, a bunch in their 60s, a whole bunch of people in their 60s on this trail. In fact, the people in their 60s seemed like they were really doing it right. You know, the retired girls and guys who were taking their time, stopping in town, One of our favorite people was Jeff, a guy that we met on trail. Super awesome guy. He was one of our
It was the second time of him, third time. It was his third time hiking the
PCT, and he basically retired and was like, I'm a permanent hiker. He'd hiked the Florida Trail. He'd hiked the PCT a bunch of times. I think he hiked the AT too, maybe.
I think so.
But we only knew him briefly, but he ended up being like one of our favorite people that we met on trail.
He was kind of the one that also told us, not verbally, but told us it was okay to take zeros out on trail, which is what we found we really liked doing.
Take a zero just in the tent, just out on trail.
I do not feel like towns are relaxing. Towns are work.
It's like, do your laundry, go for resupply,
upload your videos,
write
paint. It was just like, it was a lot of work. And so I found that we also preferred just like getting a bunch of food and then hiking out 2 or 3 miles and then camping on trail. And that's what we loved to do. Yeah. And that kind of is a little bit different than what everybody else does.
Do you want to sum it up soon? It's getting a little bit.
We still have 95 people watching.
Okay. Okay.
I know. Okay.
Yes. We'll like this one. Will you share the details on how much it costs to Sobo hike the AT? Y'all were, God, I hope this isn't crash. Oh, it's not moving. Y'all were great about.
Your finger weren't on the pad. Okay, let me do it. What are you trying to do?
Okay, I just wanted to move it out of the way.
Okay, let me do it.
Okay.
Doing my knees.
Okay, y'all were great about doing hostels, motels when you really needed it. There seems to be a lot more
platinum blazers.
Oh, is that like older people?
No, platinum means like, they're just living it up.
Oh, I thought it was like their hair is platinum.
No. They're like first class hikers. They're hitting up on the hotels and stuff like that.
Yeah, no, we are very frugal people by nature. We get our joy out of things that cost less money.
Yeah.
And we also like saving for our retirement. I like saving money, and I find that you get more fun out of staying on trail, like having your lunch at a picnic table in a park in town instead of going out to a restaurant. I don't even like restaurants. I don't really.
Yeah.
My favorite restaurant is a pizza place.
Or I love picnics.
Picnics.
Picnics are my favorite thing.
Yeah.
It says, will you all share details on how much it costs to Sobo hike the AT? Yes, we will. But I will tell you, starting off, when we saved for the PCT, it was based off of the previous knowledge that I had researched for hiking the AT. And the general consensus is like $1,000 per person per month. And so that's what we're generally going to try to be starting at.
Yes.
But we may just put it on credit cards because we want to go.
That's not going to happen. We're saving up first for it.
Just kidding.
Not putting it on credit cards.
I'm just kidding. Did part of the CT with my 15-year-old son. That's awesome. There was a 16-year-old kid that was solo hiking on the PCT. His name was Simba. And
how old did you say he was?
Oh, he wasn't 16. He was 13.
Yeah.
Y'all, he was 13. I didn't know how to feel about that.
Yeah.
I was like, I didn't know how to feel about that. But we did meet his father, who was named Mufasa. And that was just perfect. But yeah, he was the youngest.
Oh, and my nephew joined us on trail for a little while too. That was part of our notes for through hiking as a couple.
Yeah.
It can be hard when family wants to join you on trail, because even though you love them, it can take away from your journey as a couple.
Mm-hmm.
But my nephew is a strong hiker, and one thing that really worked for us was he solo hiked for like a week or so. He got his trail legs, kind of got maybe a trail name going, met some people, and I think he hiked for maybe 10 days or something like that. And then we caught up to him on trail, and then he joined us, and that was really wonderful and nice. And we hiked with him, I think, for like 600 miles.
Yeah.
And that was really awesome.
It is really awesome. And to bring it in line for like what he was saying. So it's not just people that you meet out on trail, like your trail family. It could be even somebody like your family member. Mm-hmm. And they're coming out to hike with you.
They're taking time off of work or school.
And that can be really hard because you're like, I didn't come, this is our hike or this is my hike. And it's great that you want to come out, but you still need to hike your own hike.
Yes.
And it's the same way.
Make sure they know that they're hiking their own hike, but your paths are together, but it is your own hike, and plan your own sleeps and all that type of stuff.
And that is the same attitude I feel like you have to have with the people you meet out on trail.
And people who will come visit you and family and stuff.
Yeah. Okay, I would like to make a motorcycle trip down to Chattanooga to your art shows. How do we find out your schedule? Oh, that's so sweet.
Look at this.
Oh my gosh.
I'm sorry, I wasn't listening to you. I was reading another comment.
Oh, okay.
What did you say?
He said, I would like to make a motorcycle trip down to Chattanooga to your art shows. Where do I find your schedule? Okay. When we do our pop-up events, when we do our artisans markets, I actually post that on our website. It's in the contact the artist form, and it'll tell you where you can find us.
And it's every weekend. So if you want to plan a time, plan a weekend, and then just look on our social media. Where did you say to look?
It's on our website.
On our website.
Yeah. Okay. When those open, it'll say like pop-up event. And also, hold on. Also, we're doing a book signing at REI.
Oh yeah, that's cool.
In March, so that might be a fun time to do that as well.
We're gonna go down to REI, and we'll be there for Saturday and Sunday in March. Do you remember which days it's on?
I will look it up right now.
And it's like during one of their sales events that they're having, and we're gonna set up our sort of a light setup. We'll display some art, and
book signing is on the 22nd and the 23rd. So we will be signing books at REI on the 22nd and the 23rd of March.
Basically, we're just going to be nerding out on gear.
Yeah, we're just going to nerd out on gear. Yeah.
But check this one out. Okay. I like Boss Bay's philosophy. We still have 95 people watching. She's not stopping this video until we all fall asleep and stop asking questions.
Yeah, this is a time we actually get to like talk with y'all and like it's not so one-sided. That's so cute. I love you guys so much. This is like
it really makes it
really
fun.
This is the highlight. Mama Bear and Little Bear on the Little Bear was 12. Oh yeah, I remember seeing that. I think they were on the AT. It was Mama Bear and Little Bear
coming up in a couple weeks. Oh cool, they vlogged too. Neat. We'll have to check them out. That's awesome.
How great was the trail magic? So good. So good. There was one interesting, there was actually two interesting points of trail magic. In general, trail magic is amazing and it's like amazing and I would never complain. There was one instance where there was this trail magic where it was just kind of set up and there was nobody really manning it or anything. And it was just like trail magic here. And that was kind of like, because it's really fun to meet the people who are providing the trail magic. And so that was just kind of, it wasn't bad by any means, but it was like, I would have rather met the person who was providing the trail magic.
There was this one time where we were hiking up to a spring and we kind of like got to the road and then we're like, the spring's like 0.1 or 0.2 in this other direction. And we already had enough water. And we were like, maybe we won't hike to the spring. Who cares? And then we're like, what's that in the distance? And there's some guy like waving at us. And he's like, trail magic. And we're like, all right. And so we went down there and he's like, man, I saw a couple hikers pass by. I thought for sure everyone was going to come to the spring.
Yeah.
And we ended up hanging out with that guy for like 5 hours.
That's the most saddest thing is when you all come out and you provide trail magic and then there's like no hikers.
Yeah.
And it's so sad. And we ended up hanging out for several hours on a couple of occasions because there just wasn't a lot of hikers. And we were like, y'all came out and you did all this effort and work to come out here. It's like, we'll eat all of your food.
And it is literally epic. The sun is blasting down on you. You're exhausted. Your legs hurt. And
sorry to interrupt. Riverman's going to sleep because he's in the UK. Good night, Riverman. Thanks for joining.
Good night, Riverman.
Okay, sorry, go on.
But you show up to some trail magic and there's a canopy and some folding chairs and somebody's got a fold out stove and they're freaking cooking grilled cheese sandwiches.
I know it.
Cold sodas in the cooler. You guys crushed on that trail magic. Yeah.
There was another situation where it was kind of interesting with the trail magic and that was in middle of Washington. And that was when there was a lot of fires popping up and there was a lot of fear mongering going on. And it was understandable because there was a lot of southbounders starting. And so rightly so, they were getting kicked off a trail. And a lot of them are really like upset because they wanted to have a continuous footpath. And, right at the start of the trail, there's fires and stuff. And so we got to this trail magic, and the trail angel was amazing, but the hikers were like all sad. And they were just like, good luck finishing the trail. And they were just like, it totally bummed us out. And we were like, at that moment, we were like, oh, that was such a weird trail magic. It was also when everybody was shuffling. So we lost our trail family. Everybody was shuffling because of the fires were splitting people up.
People were taking different routes. Yeah.
And so it was like, we didn't know anybody. And then the people that were there were all bummed about fires. And everybody was like, there's another fire. There's another fire. And it was just like, heck, it bummed us out. But trail magic is amazing. Amazing. Okay, we're going to shut it down.
Hey, I want to read this one. I'm 73 and recently went blind in my left eye. Thanks to you, I got to hike the trail.
Oh,
that is awesome.
That is so sweet.
We have gotten a few comments from people who want to hike the trail but can't due to injuries. And I never thought that vlogging would be a method for people to be able to enjoy the trail. That's really touching and just
really cool.
Freaking awesome. Yeah.
Yeah. We are probably going to go for about 10 more minutes, y'all. So ask your questions.
Wait, but there's 105.
I know people. There's more people now. I know it's addictive. I just want to stay on and talk to y'all. Okay.
It could feel like you need to entertain. Now they're talking about that. Yeah.
Hello, you two. Oh, from Catfish. Hello. Love your live chats. Hope you do some more. Oh, that's so sweet. We will definitely try to do some more. Yeah. Yeah. Any new gear upgrades beside clothing? We are getting a second InReach Mini. So a second SOS device. That is major.
One for each of us. Yep.
We are going, love you guys from Oregon. We are going to definitely not necessarily upgrade our rain equipment, but bring more of it. So our rain gear. So we probably will have rain pants, a better rain top.
I ain't doing rain pants. Screw that. I'm just doing shorts.
He gonna learn.
Oh, there might be some extra gear since our next hike we're starting in Newfoundland, or at least that's the plan. There might be some necessary gear that we need for that.
Yeah.
I really like the gear that we ended with.
Yeah.
A longer raincoat might be nice, or a better rain cover for the backpack. What's the thing that you use, the inner bag?
Oh, just a trash compactor bag.
We might utilize that more for wet weather.
Okay. Have you already got or are planning to get a tattoo to celebrate your success on completing the PCT? Yes, we already did. Okay, it's now show and tell.
Yes.
So let's see if I can get it in the camera. This is harder to do than you guys would think.
I got you. So there's Boss Bay's tattoo that she got from the trail right there. So this Forgive and Grow she already had, and then she already had this band, but she had this is the tree that you see on the PCT emblem. That's the tree that you see on it, and then there's our little tent.
Is that so cute?
Yep. And I got my the watercolor brush that I took on trail. I got that tattooed on this left hand.
I love you.
I love you too.
They say you want to do the AT next in June. Oh yeah, somebody asked if we mentioned that. Yes, we are definitely doing the AT. We are definitely starting in June, and whether or not we start in Canada or we just start in Maine is up in the air until probably the end of March, and then we know how much money we have.
Yep.
Yeah.
And then should we tell them about the option of how we're finishing it?
No, okay. Do not tell them that option.
Okay.
Wow, Newfoundland, good for you. I am Canadian.
Yeah.
Oh, bring us some trail magic.
Yeah, we cannot wait to explore Canada. I really am excited. Yeah.
We really want to do, so I've done the 100-mile wilderness, and then I did 2 big sections on the AT. And then of course we live in the East. And so we really wanted to do like a non-traditional even though Sobo is a little bit non-traditional, we wanted to do something extra. And we thought it would be really, really cool to do the IAT and to start in Canada. And I've always wanted to do the Eastern Continental Trail, basically, since I learned that you could hike from Newfoundland to the tip of Florida. I always thought that was so cool. And so that's what kind of spurred this whole thing of starting on the IAT.
Oh my God, I actually caught a live.
Oh, I'm so glad we stayed on. Oh, I'm so glad we stayed on. Hi, Shivey. Oh, it's so good to see you. Yes. All right, now we got to go. Bye, guys. No, I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding. We're here. It's so good to see you. I know I think the evening time is a little bit easier or better for people. So maybe we'll just stick with evening time. It seems like y'all are able to get on more.
Was wondering how far along you guys are with mailing your books out. We have roughly, we don't have a lot mailed out yet, but we have a lot packaged up. We have about 100 books packaged up right now that we're going to get mailed out today, but it's a holiday today. So tomorrow, roughly 100 books are going to go out, and already about 50 or 60 books have gone out.
No, I think about 100 have already gone out.
Oh, about 100? Okay.
Yeah. I think we're really close to the end. I think we only have like 50 or 60.
At the end of the day tomorrow, then it sounds like we'll have about 200 shipped out.
Yeah.
And then we have about 100 more.
Jim, I might check. I think you're in this newest order. You might have gotten an email that says your book is shipping. I think I remember you're printing your label.
Yeah. That seems familiar.
How much time does that add if you start in Newfoundland? That is a good question. We're not sure.
Yeah, the Canada portion is going to add 1,000+ miles. Probably somewhere near 1,500, depending on how much we want to do up there. And if we hike, well, can I tell them about the option of the?
No, don't tell them.
Okay.
Don't.
We like hiking for a long time, and we'd rather be on trail than at home.
Yeah.
So it adds a lot, but that's what we were looking for.
It's just a matter of timing. I have to talk to, in a couple videos back, I mentioned this girl, Fruit Salad, who's our fellow through hiking friend, and she's a photographer and she's Canadian, and she's spent a lot of time hiking the IAT. And of course she's been over in that region, and I'm not sure what June is going to be like in Newfoundland. We have to do a little bit more research, but I'm pretty sure we can start in Newfoundland in June. And maybe it will take us a month and a half. Well, definitely will take us a month, but maybe a month and a half to get to Maine is what we're thinking. So maybe we would be starting southbound on the AT.
Mid-July, maybe.
Mid-July is what either way, we're going to have to hustle because it's going to be adding a significant amount in order. We'll probably be hitting snow when we get to the Smokies. We'll probably hit some snow, but hey, we have snow gear. So
yes. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Roxanne, you're waiting. Oh, you must be waiting on the book. Please. I know. Be patient. We are hustling to get these books out. We are working really hard.
I wish you guys could see the stack of books that's behind the camera right now.
Yeah. Stacks of books, which is amazing. Southbound will be hard starting with Katahdin in the 100-mile wilderness. Yeah. I've done that section before and it is kind of tough, but at that point, if we start in Newfoundland, we'd have our hiking links. And so 100-mile wilderness, it'll be fine. It'll be fine.
Yeah. The whole
famous last words.
Yeah, I know, right? I got your book 4 to 7 days ago. I'm going to have my friend take a video of me as I open your book. I haven't done it yet, though.
Oh, that's so sweet. Oh my gosh. Remember to please save me a book. Yes, Larry, we've saved you a book. We got a book with your name on it, baby. Don't you worry. Yes. All good. Just excited. Yes, oh, you're so sweet.
We are excited too.
Yeah.
It, we can't, what can we say? We got a lot of orders and it's taking us a while to get through them. Yeah.
Which is awesome. Amazing. Also, if you're just coming on, know that by purchasing our book, you are help supporting our next trail. Yes. So thank you so much. We just love sharing this with you, and we are so excited. And we want to pay you back by doing another trail and writing another book.
Yes.
And vlogging and everything.
Yeah.
Yes.
Absolutely.
Oh, I'm so glad Shy B made it on.
Yeah, that's wonderful.
You're so sweet. Did you decide to go Sobo to be hiking home?
That's part of it.
It is part of it.
Mostly it's because of our leave date. I have work that I have to do up into June. I'm illustrating another comic book, and it won't. I have to finish it. I put it off. I put off finishing it for doing this last trail, and so for this time, I have to get it done before we leave. So, and I'm projected to get it done in June, which is why we're leaving in June, which is why we're hiking southbound. But also, it is nice to be hiking home. That's for sure.
Yes, yeah, and having the difference of starting in the south and heading southbound, I think is really cool and unique. And we won't hit so much of the hiker bubble, which is that's nice too. Yeah. Okay, you guys, ask your questions. We're getting off soon here. But don't worry, we will do another live, probably maybe next Monday or something, and we'll do an evening time because it seems like y'all are really available in the evening time, so that's nice.
I love the book packaging.
Oh, that makes us so happy. Don't spoil it for anybody.
Yeah, don't tell anybody.
Yeah, don't tell. It's not amazing.
That's horrible packaging. Yeah.
Would you do the PCT again, Sobo? That's a good question.
Yeah, that is a good question.
It's funny, when we were on the PCT and right as soon as we finished it, it was like, I can't imagine doing this again. And we would hear about people who would hike, who were on their like second round hiking or something. And I was like, never again. But I totally would. I would totally hike it again southbound.
Yeah, the whole time on the trail, whenever I'd meet somebody who said they hiked it multiple times, I'm like, why would you ever? And then when we were done, we both basically looked at each other and we're like, I'd turn around and just hike back.
Oh my God. We wanted to. We really thought about just touching the terminus and just hiking and then just turning around and hiking back southbound. The only thing that keeps us from not hiking the PCT again in the foreseeable future is just that there are so many other trails we want to hike. And so I can't fathom rehiking another trail until we do the ones that we want to. Is the comic book part of your series? Let's answer this last question and then we'll call it.
Issue 4 of Hugo and Knox.
Yep. Okay. If y'all don't know, he is a published illustrator and he has his own comic book series and he's on issue 4. Mm-hmm. Hugo and Knox, issue 4. It's really awesome. It's a sci-fi.
It's horrible. It sucks. Don't get
He is the writer, illustrator, and creator. It is amazing. And if you haven't read it, you're missing out. Go to our website. And get yourself a signed copy of Hugo and Knox. It's going to be on Netflix.
It's only 3 easy payments of
$9.99.
Okay, I love you too.
All right, y'all. That is everything. That is all. Thank you so much. We love you guys so much. Thanks for chatting with us. Thanks for the inspiration, y'all. Look up to you both. Oh, you guys are so wonderful. Thank you so much for. Oh, his first graphic novel. Your hubby. That's amazing. That is amazing. Go, hubby, go.
Yep. Let the nerds unite.
All right, y'all. Thanks so much for tuning in. Sorry about the buffering. And we'll see you next time.
Love you guys. Thanks for all the support.
Bye, guys.